Let's get into these previews. And James, let's start with the Buccaneers. Let me know who you're picking for the Bucs in week 2. And ultimately, what are you looking for from the Bucs?
Monday Night Football, it's a doubleheader. They will be playing up against the Houston Texans, which they looked pretty rough in week number 1 against the LA Rams. I'm looking for more consistency with the offense. I feel like that was something that did elude the Bucs somewhat in week number 1. Now, Baker obviously did Baker Mayfield things, and that was awesome, but the running game really didn't get going with Bucky Irving as much as I wanted to see. I am going to be worried about this offensive line, I should say, with them patching things together, having Graham Barton play left tackle, Ben Bredesen at center, Michael Jordan at left guard. When you've got Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter breathing down your neck, that's going to be rough, right? I feel like I want to see the pass rush also get going here because the Houston Texans, well, they traded away their best offensive lineman during the offseason in Laramie Tunsil for whatever reason they decided to do that for. So those are things that I definitely want to look out for. I am going to go ahead and give this to the Bucs just because I feel like with the Texans, I just saw a lot of flaws in their game. I hope that the offensive line can survive for the Bucs, and I think that they really will be able to get after CJ Stroud. They're missing Joe Mixon as well. That's a big piece of their puzzle. Christian Kirk is a little bit banged up. They've got some pieces in there that are hurting on the Texans offensive side of the ball. They didn't have a great week 1 showing, and I think that the Buccaneers can take advantage of that. So I've got Tampa Bay winning.
Berto, let's go on over to you. Who are you taking? Are you going to take the Texans and CJ Stroud, or are you going to take the Buccaneers?
Man, you know what? I'll take the Bucs. I'll take the Bucs on this one. Bucs, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Bucs. I'm just gonna keep it like that, short and sweet, man. I'm gonna go with the Bucs.
He wants to root so badly for the Bucs. It is eating his soul right now that he had to pick the Bucs.
No, man. I just got to go with what's right. And the Tampa Bay played a tough game against the Falcons. I think they can limit the Texans. Like you mentioned, Joe Mixon's out. So, it just gives Todd Bowles more means to get creative on defense and send the house to CJ Stroud when he least expects it. So I expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Houston Texans in week 2.
Clay, let's go down to you. Are you also going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to make it 3 out of 3?
I think the Bucs should win this game. I think the Texans' offensive line, if you've looked at it, it's not very good. I don't know why the Texans ever traded Laramie Tunsil. It makes no sense. I think that if the Bucs exploit the Texans' run defense early with Irving and White, you keep Baker Mayfield comfortable, right? Attack rookie defenders, mismatches in the secondary. You play discipline, mistake-free football in all 3 phases. You win the field position, special team battles. You should win this. I think that this should be a good road win for the Bucs because I just don't trust that Texans offensive line ever since they traded away Laramie Tunsil.
And let's wrap up this game and go on over to TJ. TJ, are you going to make this 4 out of 4 for Tampa Bay?
I feel like this is going to be a tough matchup for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're a really good defensive team, man, and they can get pressure on your quarterback. It doesn't matter how good your offensive line is. And they also have a really good secondary that can match up and man up. And it kind of just, I don't think that CJ Stroud is going to have a QBR 43 this week. I think they're probably going to play a little bit better. I'm going to go with Tampa in this game. And the reason why is I just look at Baker Mayfield. I think it's going to come down to some clutch moments in this game. I think it's going to be pretty close. Honestly, I don't think either team is going to get into the 20s. I'm serious. I think that both of these defenses are going to come to play. But I just think it's going to come down to the final possession. And I've seen enough of Baker Mayfield so far to feel like he can at least get them into field goal range or even get a touchdown. So I'm going to go with Tampa in this game.
Going with Tampa to make it 4 out of 4. Berto, we're going to go over to you, all right? We want to know, who are you taking?
Oh, boy.
Are you taking Atlanta Falcons? Are you taking the Minnesota Vikings? You're coming off of an L, but the Vikings are coming off of a dub. Short week, though. Who are you taking?
Mm-hmm. So this game is going to be interesting, and stop me if you heard this before. But the Falcons are facing some question marks, right? Is Drake London going to be available for the Sunday night matchup? He did hurt his shoulder, and as we all know, Darnell Mooney is out too. And now that tests the depth chart of the Atlanta Falcons at the wide receiver spot. And what can Zach Robinson do to pivot in the case that Drake can't go? I don't know if I'm fully confident that he can get something going. He didn't prove it against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He wasn't able to adjust within the game. So that just, puts a blunder in my eye as far as what the Falcons can do on Sunday night. So unfortunately, I got to go with the Vikings, man. I think the Vikings can come in and at home, it's gonna be an emotional game. Their home opener. They're going to throw everything. And Brian Flores loves blitzing. He loves disguising looks. So that defense is another thing to keep an eye on, man. They did harass the Bears QB last night. So I don't know, man. I'm just going with the Vikings on this one, bro.
Wow.
Sorry.
Berto is not taking his Falcons. He is taking the Vikings, keeping it real with himself. And you guys, we love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. Clay, who are you taking?
J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix are facing off for the first time since that 2024 college football national championship. This game doesn't have quite the same mistakes, but I think it's going to have the same result. I think McCarthy and that team wins. I think it's going to be close. I think this could be like a 24-23 type of game. I really do. The only thing that Atlanta needs to do, though, to win this game, because I think they can, it's just you got to put pressure on McCarthy. You're going to have to somehow – hopefully, AJ Terrell can lock down Jay Jettis, and you got to exploit mismatches. And I think the 2.2 average that you showed against the Bucs, you better hope Bijan and those guys can run the ball and play well-disciplined football in all phases, because against the Vikings team and that defense that's going to put pressure on Penix all day, yeah, it's going to be tough. But I think it's going to be close to what people think. But I'm going to take the Vikings.
TJ, we got two creators already taking the Vikings. Any chance that you could see the Falcons pulling off the upset?
I think the Falcons going to win this football game. I love
it, TJ.
No, I'm serious. Hey,
look, listen, I know this is your moment, but you know what this game gives me, the type of vibe it gives me, that when we went into week 2 last year versus the Philadelphia Eagles, the odds were stacked against us, coming off a loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the vibe it gives me. And Atlanta went there and won it in the fourth quarter. They snuck a victory out of Philly. So I don't know. It could happen against Minnesota, but I'm saying this, man, losing Darnell Mooney and potentially losing Drake London really hurts our chances going into Sunday night if Drake London cannot suit up. That's what I'm saying.
Look, this should be a big game for Kyle Pitts. I don't know if y'all paid attention to that Monday night football game, but the middle of that field was wide open. And if the Chicago Bears probably would have utilized Cole Kmet a little bit more, then it probably would have been a different outcome. It all depends on what Kyle Pitts is going to bring to the table. Look, everybody's falling in love with Minnesota, but, they played horrible in most of that game. It just came down to the fourth quarter, and Dennis Allen does what Dennis Allen does, which is choke away a game in the fourth quarter defensively. So, look, I like what I've seen out of J.J. McCarthy, but I'm not ready to, just anoint him this future franchise quarterback. This is a winnable game for the Atlanta Falcons. They got enough talent to win it. And defensively, I feel like they could put pressure on J.J. McCarthy. And if they can consistently do it and take advantage of some of the mistakes that he will give them, I can see them winning this football game, man. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So I got the Falcons.
There's this narrative that TJ is the biggest Falcons hater out there, but he is the one with the most optimism in this game so far. James, are you going to make it an even split? Are you going to take the Falcons, or are you going to take Minnesota?
Well, Berto's got the Falcons losing. Clay's got the Falcons losing. James has got the Falcons losing. The Falcons.
Yeah, you're tripping.
Yeah, the Falcons are going to lose. They're going to lose. By the way, since the NFL merger in 1970, approximately 9.8% of teams that start 0-2 have made the playoffs. Interesting note. I don't know. But yeah, I have the Atlanta Falcons losing here. I just think the Vikings are the more talented team. I'm going to be very curious to see the Falcons defense going up against the best receiver just in the NFL and Justin Jefferson. Some really good stuff that they have on the offensive side of the ball there. I will say the Falcons defense looked very good against the Buccaneers. So I am curious to see if they can continue that. Berto, I do hope Drake London plays. He's on my fantasy football team, so I need him to show up, please. If he's hurt, Darnell Mooney's hurt, that's going to be rough, man. That's going to be rough because that Vikings defense is no joke. But I also agree with TJ where it's like, hey, the Vikings in the first 3 quarters of that Bears game looked like crap offensively, and they were getting carried by that defense. So I could see this being a bit of a defensive battle here. If that is the case, I will give the edge to the Minnesota Vikings, though.
Clay, let's go ahead. Let's transition on over to you. Obviously, a lot of disappointment maybe from you on the expectations that you maybe had, and a lot of the expectations that were had by Panthers Nation going into week 1. Do you think that this is an opportunity for you guys to get right in week 2?
It could be a get-right game. I mean, the thing is Carolina has beaten the Cardinals 3 in a row since the last time. I think we have a winning streak against them right now. I think it's something like that, 3 in a row. But the thing is Carolina's just got to go out here and make 0 mental errors. You can't have the same thing you saw against Jaguars, right? Broken snaps, missed tackles, out of position players. If you can clean that up, you can get a W, right? But the problem is Arizona's going to try to read this team. What this team needs to do in game is make the correct adjustments on coverage in front and blitzes. Tempo control is going to be huge. Don't let Arizona dictate the pace. Short drives, controlled runs, quick passes, smart clock management, right? Get pressure on Kyler Murray, run the damn ball, set the tempo, enable play action passes for Bryce Young. You've got to prepare this team mentally and get them prepared for physically as well. And execution, it has to be. It's not optional. You have to execute, and that's it. But I just don't see it. I mean, Carolina lost to a mid Jaguars team, and you didn't even look good against them. Until proven otherwise, I'm taking the Cardinals 28-17.
TJ, who are you taking in this game? Are you taking the Panthers or the Cardinals?
I don't know if y'all really paid attention to the Arizona Cardinals. I wasn't impressed, man. They just took away what the Saints did well, which is, try to take the top off the defense. What the Carolina Panthers have is, it's a benefit in this game. That is possession receivers. And I feel like this is a game where Teteroa McMillan can go over 100 yards. Xavier Legette can actually catch some passes. He can possibly have a big game. But it has to start with them running the football. The Saints were able to average over 5 yards a clip. They have to utilize Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. You got to be able to run the football, because if you can run the football, establish the run, it can set up some of the plays down the field. And I'm going to go with the Panthers, man. I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Whoa, TJ got the upsets this week. All right.
I'm going to go with the Panthers.
It, TJ. Do you feel as good as TJ does, or are you a little bit more pessimistic like Clay?
I'm a little pessimistic. I have the Cardinals winning. I'm kind of with Clay, where it's dude, until I see otherwise, I don't see this Panthers. And it's a shame, because I thought the Panthers were actually going to be pretty solid this year. It's just, I'm not seeing anything to say that they can improve until I see improvement, right? So it is a favorable matchup for them. They got it, and I agree with TJ. Dude, utilize your 2 1,000-yard running backs. What are we doing here? Take some of that pressure off your quarterback, especially if he's having confidence problems, and just get going with that. But I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals here. I still think they're, a competent enough football team to get a win here.
Let's see if Berto's going to split it or make it 3 out of 4. Who are you taking, Berto?
Cardinals on this one, man. I just think the Cardinals are going to be ready and just put the clamps on the Panthers offense, man. To me, it's all a confidence thing, man. I think the confidence within that offense, that coaching staff, it could be shot, man. To put up only 10 points against a Jacksonville Jaguars team is inexcusable, man. You guys have way too much talent. I don't know if you guys can rebound from a loss like that, and going up against a Kyler Murray led offense and Marvin Harrison Jr. You got to be ready for all of that. I just don't think it happens in a week. So give me the Cardinals, man.
Well, we got one more game to talk about, and TJ, that is your Saints against the 49ers. Do you think that there's potential for an upset here?
Yeah, I believe that there is. You look at some of the key injuries that the 49ers have. Sometimes you just catch a team in a very vulnerable state. And this is an opportunity for the New Orleans Saints to try to get a victory. Especially if Mac Jones ends up being the starting quarterback. Brock Purdy, he's questionable for this game. Christian McCaffrey has been dealing with some injuries, and they've had questions at the wide receiver position, man. But Kyle Shanahan is a really good offensive mind. He's going to find ways to exploit certain individuals on the defensive side of the football. But the only way the Saints are going to win this football game, that defense is going to have to come to play. But I have the Saints winning the football game, as long as the defense comes to play.
James, do you think that there is potential for the Saints to win this football game?
I don't think it's going to happen, but I think there's potential for it. The 49ers always find a way to have half of their roster in a hospital by week 2. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. I'm going to say that's probably their best quality as a football team. But I also agree with a few things here where it's like that defense is crazy. I mean, you've got so many pieces on the defense side of that ball. Offensively, I know that it's like, hey, George Kittle's on the IR, but some of their backup tight ends showed up. McCaffrey, he is a hamstring away from being out for like 10 years or something. But I still think that they have enough firepower offensively. And even if Brock Purdy doesn't suit up, Kyle Shanahan's kind of been like the king lately of him, and like Kevin O'Connell have been the kings of like, oh, we can literally play like anybody at quarterback and still have some level of success. So even if it is Mac Jones, I still think that their offense can find some modicum of success. So I give it to the 49ers here. I just think overall they're the more talented team, so to speak. They just have a better roster top to bottom. And even if some of their backups do have to play offensively, I think the 49ers will be able to overcome it.
All right, Berto, let's go on over to you. What team you taking here?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be for the 49ers. I think the 49ers, what they're going to do is just pivot to the ground game, just showcase McCaffrey and all he can do out the backfield and catching out of the backfield. Probably going to introduce more of what Ricky Parcell could do, the Florida Gator wide receiver. I just feel like the offense is going to be too much for the Saints defense. The Saints brought it with Brandon Staley and what the pressures he was able to dial up. So I wouldn't be shocked if, they made this game relatively close, but I still see it at the end as a 49ers victory.
A 49ers victory. So let's see. Does Clay want to make this an even split, take the upset with the Saints and TJ, or is he going to make this 3 out of 4 for the 49ers? Where are you going, Clay?
I think it depends on Brock Purdy. Is he going to be playing or not? He's got a toe issue. It sounds like it's worse than his shoulder because he's got a shoulder concern as well. So it's like Mac Jones is the next guy up behind him. I think that might be enough for the Saints to win, to be honest with you. And so I'm going to take the upset. I think the Saints could pull this game off. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say 23-20, something like that. I think it's going to be close. I'll take the Saints in the upset over a decimated San Francisco team.
Make sure you guys come back, kick it with us to break down everything that happened in week 2 and to preview week 3.